be a little bit different because I don't actually get in. So let's rewind. Let's rewind. Yeah, I missed the flight. Are you traveling by yourself? And your girl too cute to go to jail. Oh yeah, they locked my ass. Hi, welcome to Travel Tea with Amanda Kenise, where we talk about globetrotting and storytelling. With a cocktail, of course, but first we gotta pick the country. Let's see. Laos.
Laos is in Southeast Asia, landlocked between Thailand and Vietnam. The weather is tropical with 2 seasons, dry and rainy season. The best time to go is November through April. Recommended trip length is about 7 to 10 days. It's perfect for culture lovers, nature lovers, couples, and solo travelers. Major cities to visit are Luang Prabang, Vientiane, Bang Vinh. And for U.S. travelers, a tourist visa is required. Now let's get into why you should add this country to your list. Think Temple Town vibes in Luang Prabang, waterfall day trips that feel unreal, and Mekong River sunsets that makes you slow down. And we can't forget the night markets for the food. However, the biggest thing that makes Laos stand out is the pace. It's the reset version of Southeast Asia. Now, quick tip. The Mekong River runs through Laos and continues down through Cambodia and Vietnam. So this whole region is literally connected by the same river. Also makes for an easy 3-country trip.
So for this country's cocktail, we're gonna make Som Nam Na, which is a local drink made with Lao Lao, which is like a Lao vodka whiskey, but because we don't have that, we're gonna use whiskey along with Malibu rum, lychee syrup, lime, and pepper. However, I don't like peppers, so I'm gonna remix it and use what I have to get what I want and make this drink my way. You could do the same. All right, story time. So usually when you're going to a country, I have a lot to say about my experience, but this story is gonna be a little bit different because I don't actually get in.
Wow.
So let's rewind. Let's rewind. I took a morning red eye to Bangkok because you can only get to Laos from Philippines through Bangkok. So I had a layover. I went to the airline and I was like, hey, you guys, what time do I need to be here so I can get on my flight? They told me a time. And I'm like, cool, I'll be there. So I go to the lounge. Your girl loves a lounge, especially because they was giving away free massages, drinks, all the snacks. I was living. I was watching Real Housewives of Potomac. Go. So you know how to keep up with my girls. So I'm having a good old time. I'm like, oh, time to go. Let me get myself together. So I go to the check-in desk and yeah, I missed the flight.
Wait, what?
They told me I should have been there 5 minutes before at least. And I'm like, but I literally came to you guys and you told me to come at this time. Okay, I'm rambling. But yes, you get where I'm going with this. You see why I'm pissed?
So not cool.
So now I'm like, what to do next? Because I had to get to Laos to start my trip on time. What I did was I hired someone to pretty much be my chauffeur to do a road trip from northern Laos to southern Laos. So we had to start on a certain day to make sure I hit all the things I wanted to see.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention now.
So I talked to him. He got me on a flight. In a few hours, I just had to get to their other major airport. So I took an Uber to that airport and waited. This time I did not go into a lounge.
Well, I've been thinking about it, and I think it's the right thing to do.
I waited at the gate, got on the plane, and I'm on my way on Lao Airlines to Laos.
Yes!
So we're excited. I'm in Laos. It's about to push midnight, and your girl is trying to figure out what's gonna happen next because you got to go through immigrations and all that. I was well prepared. I got my e-visa in advance because I didn't want to have to deal with the line. The line was ridiculous to get through immigration. And I was just like, you know what? I got everything I need. I should be fine. The guy looked at me and he's just taking longer than normal. I've never had anyone take this long to look at my passport. I already was a little hesitant because I was towards the end of the passport, but I had about 3 good pages left. I asked TSA about this and they said your passport is fine. You don't need to worry about anything. But when you come back to the States, I'll recommend that you renew your passport. So everything was good, but not according to Lao. So the guy's like, follow me. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll follow you. So I follow him into our office and they're just all looking at me. And the first thing they ask is, are you traveling by yourself? And I can't lie because I already filled out the visa form, which says I was traveling by myself. And usually, if you're traveling with someone, you have to notify that. So I can't just say, oh, I'm traveling in a group, anything like that. But I did reference that I'm meeting someone.
Okay.
Where I messed up is I could not remember that man's name to save my life.
God damn it!
So I could only say I'm meeting someone. He's my friend. And he's on the other side of the door trying to wait for me to get out. And I'm texting him as I'm talking to them, trying to figure out what's going on. So then they're filling out a paperwork. And I don't know what this paperwork says because it's in another language, but I know something's not right. So I'm telling him, look, this is what's going on. See if you can help get me out on the other side. I'm going to work on this side. He's like, slide them, $20. I was like, there was a sign.
That is no good.
So basically, I'm like, there is signs saying, if you try to finesse them in a way, you can get in trouble. And your girl, too cute to go to jail. I
Oh, yes.
ain't trying to get in trouble in another country. You can only get saved so much. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out what's the plan. We're pushing midnight. The embassy is closed. They're not allowing me to make phone calls or do anything. The only thing I'm managing to do is message. And as I'm messaging, the lady is like looking over my shoulder, trying to read my text messages, talking about who you texting, what you doing, who you talking to. And I'm looking at her like, dang, I could have sworn this was my phone. But, you got to relax because, I'm outnumbered.
Sure.
So I'm just like, man, I don't think this is going to end the way I need it to end, but I need to figure out what's my game plan. So I'm asking questions, trying to figure out what's going on. What are we waiting on? Well, we're waiting on the airline to show up because they have to explain to them why they let me on the flight. And then, so when they finally come, it's like maybe 30 minutes later, they look at my passport and they're like, what's the problem? Exactly.
Absolutely indescribable.
What is the problem?
One eternity later.
They're looking at my passport and there's like, nothing's wrong with her passport. And I'm like, I know there's nothing wrong with my passport. There are pages. And there's like, no, her passport. So the older passports, the last pages are for embarkation. That does not mean you can't use the page. Any page in your passport that has a number page on it, you can use. But because of the labels, which are suggestions, if you need it, then in their mind, you can't use it.
It's absurd.
So I'm arguing back and forth with them as they're trying to Google their way into telling me they're right. And I'm telling you, as a U.S. citizen who travels and owns a travel agency, I know that you can use these pages. So we're going back and forth. The airline is agreeing with me, but their hands are tied because a country has the right to not let you in. So at this point, it's fair to say they not letting me in.
That's kind of messed up.
So now the question is, what's going to happen? Because the next flight out is not until 7 a.m.
Oh, it's bad.
the next day.
It's real bad.
So yeah, they locked my ass up.
They won't let me out. They won't let me out.
So yeah, they took my phone, and I'm like, before you take it, let me power it down. They took my phone, and they let me keep my luggage, and they put me into a male dormitory where I sat by myself in some dirty dorms, bunk beds. Like, I'm gonna paint the whole picture. You go inside, there's 2 sets of bunk beds, this really thin mattress, that are soiled brownish orange. Some have pillows, some don't. It just looks disgusting. There's a smell. I had to pee so bad. It was coming from the toilet, which had the brown, orangey, grassy color pee in it. And they had a lawn chair. That's the room. And a camera, of course, to watch me. So I'm glad they let me keep my luggage because I always pack, Lysol wipes, Clorox, all of that. So I'm like, all right, I'm not laying down, but I at least could sit in this lawn chair. And I need to clean the toilet so I could pee. Even though I'm not going to sit on the toilet, I don't care. It might spray up. I just need to wipe it down so I feel safe. And I convinced them to get me a bunch of water, even though I didn't drink it. I didn't care. I just wanted whatever I can get. So it's now going on 1 o'clock and in the morning, and I'm locked in a male dormitory. All right. So I haven't started spiraling. I'm now trying to plan because the goal is I just have to last until it's time to catch this flight. I'm sitting here like charging up my phone, charging up my Apple Watch. They don't know I have my laptop. I didn't want to pull it out because, they're watching me, but that's my last resort. And I'm just trying to figure out, all right, I'm about to pull an all-nighter. I'm just going to stay up because I don't trust falling asleep. I don't trust nobody. I don't know what can happen. So I'm just going to stay up.
Now that's a bright idea.
I'm sitting there going, trying to read on my phone. I have books on my phone.
Oops, I didn't have my phone, but I charged my Apple Watch, iPad, and headphones.
Entertaining myself, trying to figure out what to do. Next thing you know, it's going towards 5. In my mind, you got to board the plane. You need to be there 2 hours before. So I'm like, 5 a.m. Who gonna let me out? So I get up to the door and I'm just looking, and it's just like those slits where you can't really see in, but you see down. So I'm trying to look up in there, trying to see if I can catch somebody. And then I'm just banging on the door. I do not care at this point. I'm pissed that they even locked me up. I'm pissed that I'm being deported. I'm pissed that I paid money even though I didn't pay all of it. It's the principle that money was paid that I won't get back. And yeah, I'm pissed.
I don't know. It's just a lot.
So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, what should I do next? Sip. A little sweet side, but it's good. Okay. So now I'm sitting here trying to catch someone walking by, because the goal is if I can get someone coming by, I can ask them what's going on, when they're going to let me out, and when can I get my phone. Because they told me that I was going to catch the 7 a.m. flight. That means you should be letting me out around 5, 5:30, something like that, so that I can get my ticket and go back home. Or go back to where I came from, which would be Bangkok. Well, 5 o'clock comes, nothing. 5:15 comes, nothing. But around 5:20, I hear footsteps, so I just start banging on the door. And they're like, hello? I'm like, hello? When y'all gonna let me out? And he was like, I just got to work.
Are you serious right now?
I was like, you walking barefoot outside? Because you remember, I can look down. I can't look up or look. I can't look directly and I can't look up. I can only look down. So I see his feet. And they're barefoot on these dirty floors. And remember what my room looked like. You really think they cleaned this place? I know I shouldn't be judging and I'm the one locked up, but I can't help myself sometimes. Anyway, I'm like, so can you let me out? And he was like, I need to go get ready for my shift and then I'll come let you out. I'm like, okay. Before I could say anything else, he already walked off. So it's a lost cause. I have to wait.
Bloody hell!
I'm very impatient, so I start banging again. I'm waving my hands in front of the camera like, let me free, let me free.
Give us free!
Because I already saw before when I was getting ready to get locked up, they had cameras that watches everyone. And there was another dorm that was a female dorm that had a few women in there. So I'm thankful they didn't lock me up with them. They put me by myself because it could have been a different story. But yes. So then I decide, I'm just pissed. I'm going to be banging. Boo, 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 boo. let me out of here. Like, I'm going crazy at this point because now it's going on 6:30 and no one has let me out. Remember, they told me that I was going to catch the 7 a.m. flight. Why am I still locked up?
I have been nice to you, but now I'm coming to the edge.
So I'm boom, boom, boom. So I was like, man, I know the embassy opened at 8. I couldn't call no one because they wouldn't let me call. I had already told the guy who was waiting on me that, hey, if you don't hear from me by 7 a.m. at the latest, then call the embassy and let them know what's going on to get me. So he already knew what to do, what protocol was. Right now it's just a waiting game. Well, they was taking too long for my liking, so I pulled my laptop out and connect to an airport Wi-Fi, and I started trying to go into WhatsApp to see if there was a WhatsApp number to the embassy to call them or something.
Smart move.
But literally, the moment I pulled it out and put it into Google, someone comes to the door, so I quickly put it up, and then he's looking at me like, "Are you okay?" And I'm looking at him like, "Are you okay? What took you so long?" And so he says to me like, "Would you like to come out?"
Are you kidding me?
Yes. And I definitely had an attitude because I'm like, "What took y'all so long?" So I go out and then there's like, "Okay, you could get on the plane." I was like, "Where's my phone?" So he go get my phone and I snatch it from him and then I walk out and I know you shouldn't do that, but I was mad. So I did it. Don't do like me. Do better. Be better. Don't be like me. Be better. Anyway, so we go and we're on our way. And as we're walking, they're like, so how would you like to pay for this flight? And I was like, I don't.
Are you actually saying that?
I didn't ask to go back. It was nothing wrong with my passport. And I'm not paying for this. But you have to take me back so y'all can figure it out. And she's like, well, someone has to pay for this. I was like, yeah, y'all have to pay for this, but can I have my ticket? Because they already have my passport, so I can't go nowhere. They have my passport, they have my visa, they have all of that because, you know, you hand that over in immigration to, you know, get into the country. So I don't have anything. They never gave it back to me. They have the paperwork, which I never signed. I put under duress. So if anyone saw it, they'll know that I didn't ask to sign this.
Smart move.
And I did read, even though it was in another language, I know what numbers look like, and I saw $300.
What?
The math is not mathing.
On there, I ain't paying nobody no $300. And I asked the lady what that meant, and she said that the airline owes $300. So I kept that in mind. So I get on the flight. I'm on my way back to Bangkok because that's where I flew from. So I have to go back where I came from. I get there. And there's like 5 people waiting for me. And I have to be the last to get off the plane. And there are like 5 people waiting for me. And I'm like, okay. And there's like, I'm sorry that this happened to you. I was like, are you sorry? Can I go to the embassy and, you know, get my passport taken care of? I was like, there's nothing wrong with it. If you need me to add more pages, I can easily go to the embassy and they'll add more pages or they'll renew it. Like they have the ability to do that. She was like, well, you can't leave the airport because you weren't in Bangkok. You were a layover in Bangkok. Therefore, you have to go back where you came from, which technically would be sending me back to the Philippines, but I did not correct them and I let them send me back to the US. Because remember, I came from the Philippines to Laos. So technically they should have sent me back to the Philippines, but they said they'll send me back to the US because I already had a flight for like 14 days ahead to take me from Bangkok to US. And now they're like, okay, we're gonna take that flight and see if we can move it up to today.
Gotta stay sharp.
So they walked me 45 minutes through the airport to an office, took my picture to say that I'm being deported from Thailand now. And even Thailand's like, there's nothing wrong with your passport, it's nothing that I can do at this point because once a country deports you, you have to keep going on all the way back. There's nothing that can be done. So now I'm just sitting there in the middle of an airport and they have a babysitter on me. The other lady walks off and she's trying to figure out my flight situation for me because I can't do it. And they said that it's protocol for when you're deported that you have to get special permissions to get on the flight. So as we're sitting here, I'm like, dang, I haven't slept. I haven't taken a shower. I'm going on 48 hours of that. I haven't eaten for real. Like I'm real down bad right now, and something has to give. I noticed there's a lounge. So I'm like, hey, how can I get into this lounge? But the guy's like, you can't move right now. You have to stay here. And I'm like, okay, cool. So now 15 minutes goes by and the girl comes back and they ask me a question of like, to give them more detail of the flight that I was on, that I was supposed to be on to take me to the US. I tell them. And then they both were like, stay here, we'll be back. And I'm thinking to myself, where can I go? Like, you have my passport. I can't leave the airport. Like, I'm just glad that I packed a carry-on, because if I would have packed anything less, I really would have been screwed trying to figure out my bag situation. So I'm so glad I did carry on. But anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm like, dang, I need to charge my phone. I need to figure out a next step. Well, this Middle Eastern guy comes up and he clearly finds me attractive. So he sits next to me and tries to practice his English. So I'm like, oh, you're doing great. Can you watch my bags? And he was like, yes. Because I knew he wasn't going anywhere. I knew the people he were with. Like, I know how to read people enough to know, like, all right, make this move or don't make this move. And I could see. So I'm like, can you watch my bags? I just want to go to the info desk to call the airline back. So I walked to the guest desk because I have no way to contact the airline to figure out what's going on. It's going on 30, 45 minutes and I'm just sitting in the middle of the airport and this can't be life. There has to be other solutions because yes, it just has to be. So I get to the guest. I asked her, hey, can you reach out to the airline to tell them to come see me? She was like, well, what's going on? I was like, I want to charge my phone. I want to eat. I want to, sit down, take a nap or something. And she was like, oh, you can go do that anywhere in the airport. I was like, how they gonna know where I am? How can they find me? We don't have each other's numbers. We're not friends. And she was like, I was like, exactly. So call them and tell them to come see me. So she calls them. 15 minutes later, the guy comes back and he was like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, no. Can you get me into this lounge? He was like, well, I can't. I was like, I have access to the lounge. I don't have a flight, so I need you to use your credibility as the airline and help me get into here. And he's like, okay.
Finally, someone who gets it.
So we go to the desk. They let me in, and then I immediately put my stuff down, charge my phone, and I'm like, it is now going on 1, 2 o'clock. And something is telling me it's time for me to intervene in whatever's going on, because even though they're working on getting me a flight out, I already looked up how many flights go home, and there are only two flight options with that airline to get me home. I don't know if I could get on another flight. I don't know what Bangkok's rules are in regards to being deported, where they would take me. I don't know if they'll let me stay in this lounge, but I do know I'm safer in a 24-hour lounge than I am sitting outside and just in the middle of the airport. So once I got my phone on the charger, I immediately looked up the embassy number and I called them. And I sang like a canary. I told that lady everything. You had to put a little every emphasis and like you crying tears. Had put my southern charm on, let her know what's going on. Like, ma'am, I have no idea. This never happened to me before. So she was like, I'm glad you're okay. I'm going to help you. She was like, stay by your phone. I'm going to have someone call you. So the guy calls me back like 5 minutes later and he was like, whatever you do, you did the right thing by going into the lounge. Because he was like, the lounge is there 24/7. You could stay there. He was like, because Bangkok is one of those ones where you don't want to be deported from. They're going to lock you up in a underground jail. And you'll you be there 3 days before they help you, because technically when you're deported, the airline has at minimum 3 days to put you on the flight back. So I would have been locked up there for an additional 3 days if I didn't do what I did.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
So I was like, oh, child. All right. I was like, so can I go to a hotel? He was like, if you go to a hotel, it's going to be very expensive because you have to pay for someone to watch you. And I was like, I can't go nowhere. You have my passport. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. He was like, it doesn't, but that is the rule. Like, if you do that, it could get very expensive. I was like, can I get another flight out? I was like, at this point, I don't want to stay here if I can't. If I can get out today, let's get out today. So I was like, can I just buy another flight? He was like, yeah, because I was looking. There were flights as cheap as $300, $500 for a one way back home. Like, I will take that L immediately and take my butt back home. And he was like, yes, you can. However, you have to get on specific airlines that have a partnership with the US. Is that it's easier for you to get there, because you also have to think about the layovers from those flights, because if they want to continue me on the deportation, I have to be taken into custody when I get to that layover, go through the same thing again, and then get on the flight to get back to the US. So, taking all that into consideration, it's best that I limit myself to certain airlines. I'm like, cool. Well, of course, those are the airlines that cost about 1,500 and up to get to the US on a one way. But at this point, it's like American Express. Like, put that on the credit card. Like, who cares? Get home. Mission, get home. So I decide then to stay there. He's like, let me talk to the airline, which it was Cathay Pacific. Let me see if I can expedite you getting home on the ticket you already have. But whatever you do, don't leave. Well, while I'm waiting for him to call, and I told him that I'm willing to pay for another airline, the Lao airline comes back to me and they're like, hey, we're still waiting on Cathay Pacific, but while we wait, um, I see that you got in touch with the embassy. I was like, I sure did. And he was like, well, they said that you're looking at another airline to get home. I sure am. He was like, well, we can only look at one airline at a time. And I'm like, that's so bogus, but whatever. So I tell him, look at Japan Airlines as the first one, because that was the first one that had a flight coming out sooner than later. And he was like, all right. So when he left, they called me to say, hey, we got in touch with Cathay Pacific. We're just waiting to see if they could get you on the flight. We also know that that Lao knows that you're willing to buy another flight if we can't get you on that. So they should have reached out to you. And I was like, yes, he did. They told me they can only look at one airline at a time. So I'm waiting on them to do that. And he was like, all right, don't pull the trigger until I call you back. So as I'm waiting for him to call me back, they come back to me to say, okay, we can get you on the airline. You got to buy the ticket. And I was like, well, the embassy told me not to buy the ticket yet. I have to wait. And literally, we sit there for 10 minutes. They finally called. He was like, I got you on the Cathay Pacific flight. Like, you don't have to spend nothing, but you need to move fast because they're about to start boarding in less than 30 minutes. I was like, bet, say, lit. So as I'm talking to him, Lao Airlines get a phone call, which basically says the same thing. And he's like, all right, we got to go because you got to go get your ticket and you need to leave. So I get myself together. We get to the desk for Cathay Pacific. He gets me my ticket and he's holding on to it.
Hey, hold up.
So I'm like, can I have my shit? You know, like, can I have my stuff? So he was like, no, I have to hand it over to the airline. I'm like, okay, whatever. So the girl from earlier meets up and she's like, okay, for you to get your stuff, you have to pay us $300. I was like, no, I don't. She was like, no, you have to pay us $300 because that was the fee to fly you back. I was like, first of all, you already took my original flight to go home, which was from Laos to Bangkok. I already had a flight. I was like, I told them they could have that. I told them I'm not paying you anything extra. And they was like, well, that's only $200. That means there's an extra $100. We need to get money. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have it. And I looked, I was like, I got $40. I don't know. I was like, I have more than that, but they don't need to know that. I'm like, I got $40. I don't know what to tell you. This is all I can give you. I have no other way to get money. Like, this is an expense I wasn't expecting. These people took me to the airport, to duty free, to the exchange people, asking them, can I use my card to give them money? And everyone's looking at them like they're crazy, like, no. They had the audacity to then go to the food court and ask them, can I buy something from them, food, and return it for money?
Girl, really?
those people curse them out so bad in the Thai language. I mean, I don't speak it, but I understand body language and know they like move along, move along. So now they're sitting here like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but my flight about to leave and y'all not about to make me miss this flight. And they was like, all right, well, we'll take the $40. I'm like, cool, here, take the $40. Give me my stuff. So then we go, he walks me to the flight and tells them what's going on. The lady looks at my passport, looks at me, and she was like, okay, y'all sit there, and she goes talk to the crew, and then she comes back to him, and she's like, you can go, we'll watch her. And she waits and watches them leave, and then she looks at me, and she was like, here you go, board when you're supposed to board. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, does she not care? Like, they telling me I'm supposed to be watched. I gotta be walked on. I'm thinking, I'm about to lock me. I've been going through everything. We're about to hit day 3 because of the time difference between U.S. and here. Like, I've been going through this for a good minute. No bath, barely ate, barely slept. Like, I'm tired. So I get on the flight. I sit down. No one says anything. I get food, I get sleep, I get drinks. I'm having a good time. We have a layover in Hong Kong. So as we're getting off the flight, I'm thinking like, okay, where the people at to get me off the flight? No one gets me off the flight. So when I get off the flight, I see them huddle up at the front. I'm like, all right, are y'all going to take me? And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, I thought I was being deported. And they was like, ain't nothing wrong with your passport. Don't nobody care. Just go. And I was like, you know what? Blessed be.
Hey, my God, glory! Glory!
Blessed be. So I went to the lounge, waited for my flight, and got back to the U.S. Pissed because wasted all that money. But I feel like the silver line is that it had to be a reason why this didn't work out. Especially because of at that time, there was a huge earthquake that hit Bangkok, which I would have been in the middle of that. So that could have been me being saved from that. Who knows what else could have happened. But yeah, now I have a story to tell and a cocktail to drink.
Okay, here are a few lessons learned. Entry is never guaranteed. Even if you have a passport, a visa, and a return ticket, a country can still deny you entry. So always show up prepared, calm, and respectful. Now here's something I learned the hard way. Passport pages matter. From the US side, I was told by TSA and the passport agency that the numbered pages are valid. But here's the real world issue. The country you're entering may not treat every page the same, especially if they require true blank visa pages. So to play it safe, keep clean blank visa pages available and avoid the endorsement or annotation pages that are meant for official passport notes. If you ever get pulled into secondary or detained, stay calm, don't argue, and ask them to notify the U.S. Embassy or consulate. And don't sign anything you don't understand. If you feel pressure to sign or you feel like you don't have a choice, ask for an interpreter. Ask what you're signing, and if you still have to sign, write signed under duress and request a copy or a photo for your records. If you're denied entry or deported, follow instructions. Keep every document they give you and contact the embassy or consulate as soon as you can. And before every international trip, enroll in STEP. Share your location and itinerary with someone you trust and always know where the nearest embassy is, with the contact info saved on your phone and ideally offline too.
Well, I hope that was a good story for you because living it and telling it is 2 different experiences. Cocktail in hand, cheers, and see you next time.